How's it going, guys? Doe here. Hope we're doing good. And today we got some Dauntless content, even though I know you guys adore the Hyperscape stuff. Today we're going over some axe builds, and I think I got 6 of them. 3 of them are going to be flawless, and 3 of them will be Iceborne builds, just to sort of suit all the playstyles that you can have with the axe, because Iceborne is a really good sell for the axe. It's fun to play. It's not the most meta sell, but it makes the weapon just different, because you can overcharge, or not overcharge. You can super armor attacks and, heal. And take less damage. It's a good time. Now, before getting into the builds, I want to go ahead and say, if you guys want to support the channel, make sure to like the video, comment on the video, subscribe to the channel for more Dauntless content and gaming content in general. And if you want to, use my Epic Games subscriber code in the Epic Games store and the in-game Dauntless store. Helps out a ton, and that's all I gotta say. Now, to get started on the builds, we will start off with the Turmoil of Boreus. This is a frost axe. It is the best frost axe at the moment. It could change. And it's good because the unique effect is after each charge attack level, you generate a frost sprite and you get max 4 sprites. You will normally only be able to charge 3 sprites unless you charge 3 times on the axe and then roll and charge again and then use your Grim Onslaught. That's a pretty smart thing to do sometimes, but most of the time you'll just have 3 charge levels. The axe also has conditioning, and that is nice on the axe. Not necessary, but it just adds quality of life that the game is currently missing, if you ask me. And as far as the specials and the mods go, it's going to be this sort of a general thing. So you'll always have Grim Onslaught if your goal is to be using the most optimal special in the game. I know it's kind of whack that, the specials aren't unique and they're not like good in their own right, but Grim Onslaught is the best special, hands down, no questions asked. As far as your modifier goes, you'll have 2 options between modifiers, and this will be either Overcharged Cylinder for longer forms of combat or Volatile Axe Core for shorter forms of combat, because it's just that good. Now, Railsplitter's Canteen isn't that great, and that's mostly because it doesn't stack like it should or like it could with Catalyst, so it's not as good as I thought, and that's kind of a bummer. Anywho, that is the general information for the specials and stuff, so keep that in mind throughout the rest of the video. As far as my armor and stuff goes, I need to figure out what freaking button I have for my cam. Anyway, as far as the armor goes, Dark Watch Helmet, which is the Shroud Helmet, Koshai Chest, Mount Gloves, and Chirurg Feet. This is going to be a sort of a common trend here with like the armor choices. The goal is to pick the best cells. It's very interactive and fun. I get it. And then Lantern, Drask, and Potions, you can use whatever you want, man. You can use Assault Tonic. Like right now, I should clarify. At the moment, these still don't work. It's great. So Aether Drop don't work, but Assault, Blitz, and Frenzy are pretty good tonics, so that should cover like the general basics for most of the other builds in terms of potions and specials and mods. Anyway, the build itself has Conduit +6. You can change that Catalyst +6 if you want to. Overpower, Predator, Rage, and then +3 Conditioning, Discipline, Tough, Wild Frenzy. The Tough is a defense cell that can be whatever defense cell you want. I like Tough because I am tough, okay? And you just get more health, you get more healing, and whatever. You can pick whatever you want. I don't care. Bloodless. You do you, you little vampire. Whatever you want, man. And then moving forward, we have the Mind Splitter. This is probably one of the best acts, quote unquote. It's pretty freaking strong. And this is a legendary from Thrax. You get, the ability, which is you deal damage, go in the sky, slam down on nerds. It's pretty cool. Pretty neat. But, anywho, the other thing is the freaking bond you can have, which in this case would be the Stalker's Mercy. You can choose 2 bonds, Stalker's Mercy or Reaper of Night. Stalker's Mercy, you just get, when you deal damage, you can deal even more damage because you get orbs for the damage you dealt. That makes sense? Alright, great. And that is pretty freaking good, pretty freaking strong, especially for the axe that deals a ton of damage. You'll be maintaining a decent amount of orbs. The cap on the orbs is 8, and that 8 orbs you're doing like 34% damage, something like that. So it's a pretty solid pick. Now for the gear, or the armor, we have the Shroud Headpiece, Chest Piece, Mount Gloves, Koshai Feet. And the same old everything else. And as far as the cells go, because like I said earlier, you can swap out Catalyst for Conduit very easily. I do this on purpose, so you guys can do that if you don't want to use Catalyst, which Catalyst is good. It is technically the best in slot in some situations, but at the same time, it's also weird because it doesn't work like it should in certain regards. But you can swap it out to being Conduit +6 and Catalyst +3, or you can just swap Catalyst to Aetheric Attunement. It's up to you. So I'm going to swap it back to Catalyst because why not? And we'll go ahead and press the young W. But yeah, Catalyst, Overpower, Predator, Rage, Wild Frenzy and then +3 conduit discipline. This build has a ton of attack speed. It's good. It's great even. It's probably one of my favorite builds just because you get so much going for it. You can get some really fast kill times using this kind of build if you play it properly. And next up we have the Torgadoro Axe, Incinerator Song. And then we have the Hellion Bond because you have three choices for bonds. The Charg Bond is terrible, Evermain Bond is whatever, but Hellion is really good. On the axe, it's not the greatest, but it's okay. And that's sort of why Boreus Axe is super good, because it just sort of outshines the Hellion Bond IMO. But this bond gives you overpower, and the 5th hit in a row deals 225 damage, which stacks with all of your cells, damage, what have you. It stacks up to be pretty hefty. And then we have the Light's Crown, Resident Helmet, Shroud Chest Piece, Mount Gloves, Charoge Feet. And then for sales, we got the Young +6 Catalyst. Again, it can be swapped. Wait, can it be swapped? Yeah, it can be swapped to +6 Conduit if you want to. Same kind of deal as last time. And then Overpower, Predator, Rage, Wild Frenzy, Conduit, Discipline. If you're noticing a trend, it's because these builds are basically the freaking same, dude. We love Dauntless and the uniform builds that offer so much creativeness. That's for lack of a better term, creativeness. Anywho, and then moving on to the Iceborne builds. If you guys like to survive fights, and if you want to play the axe in a way where you can actually resolve attacks, because using the previous builds, you do not want to resolve any attacks, because resolve does not benefit you in any flawless build at all. If you resolve an attack, you lose Predator. That is losing a lot of damage, not ideal. So these builds have no Predator. They have Iceborne instead, which is you take less damage, and you can also get lifesteal, which is great for the axe. It feels amazing. So Iceborne Boreus Axe, again, it's going to go in like the same order. It's going to go Boreus, Boreus Thrax, and then Torgadoro. Keep that in mind. So, yeah. For the armor, we got the Light's Crown, Resident Helmet, Shroud Chest Piece, Torg Gloves, and the Boreus Feet. And then as far as cells go, Conduit, Iceborne, Overpower, Rage, Wild Frenzy, +3 Conditioning, +3 Discipline. Pretty good stuff. And then we have the Mind Splitter. Again, I'm using the Stalker's Mercy Bond because you could use your River of Night, but it's rough, man. It's rough to make work. Plus, in this kind of build, you'd be healing, so you wouldn't want to do that at all. So you can't use that. I wouldn't use that in an Iceborne build ever. And we have the Shroud Head. I keep forgetting what Shroud is. I see it, I'm just like, what is that? Shroud Headpiece, Boreus Chest, Torg Gloves, Boreus Feet. And then, as far as cells go, +6 Catalyst. It can be Conduit. Pick your poison. Iceborne, Overpower, Rage, Wild Frenzy, +3 Conduit, and +3 Discipline. Now, I should mention that for the Conduit, like having +3 Conduit will overwrite +6 Conduit in a group. So if you have to for certain builds, swap out the Conduit for, like, let's say a Hellion headpiece, right? Any build that has the Reza headpiece, swap that out for a Hellion if you have to, because that will just make it to where you don't have the Conduit and you get more damage, and your teammates will hopefully know how to press their Lantern hold and actually generate Conduit, which doesn't happen very often, honestly, which is kind of rough, but it's better than overriding it whenever you do get that juicy +6 Conduit going. So just so everyone's aware. And lastly, we have the last build. Crazy how it works. This is the Torgadoro Axe in the Iceborne build. And this is the exact same build as the one prior, except that you're changing a couple cells in the weapon. So you have Catalyst Conduit here. In the next build, you'll have Catalyst Wild Frenzy. Wild. I know. Revolutionary. Crazy. But yeah, this is the build going right here. And again, Inferno's Decree is the bond. And we have the Shroud Headpiece, Boreus Chest, Torg Gloves, Boreus Feet. And we got +6 Catalyst, Iceborne, Overpower, Rage, Wild Frenzy, Discipline, and Rage Hunter. This is to avoid having +3 Conduit, which will overwrite your team's Conduit if they have +6. That was the goal here, and that was the execution. Which I'm not. Oh, yeah, also, in this other build, you can change the Conduit since it's in the prismatic cell slots. Are they called prismatic? Or are they called? Yeah, they're called prismatic, right? I can't remember anymore. But you can change this to whatever you want to. You can have Energized if you want that, which I don't really suggest, but you could. You could have Rage Hunter. It doesn't matter. You can do a whole lot of stuff if you want to. +6 Discipline if you want to go for whatever you want to go for. But anyway, that theirs is the builds. If you guys liked it, make sure the like helps the channel a ton. And I appreciate y'all watching. I will see you in the next one. Also, wait, check out my freaking Hyperscape content, you bots, please. I love you. Thank you. Peace.